First language acquisition, rule governed. Now, in the 1970s, as the people became more and more interested in the first language acquisition, to understand how could they use the rules from there to teach a second language, there appeared at least two main strands of research. While one research revealed that their first language was learned in a specific pattern, and the children learned the first language in a specific order, although the pace of their learning might differ, the second strand of research actually revealed that the first language learning involved learning of certain rules. That is, when the children used a language, they were actually using certain made-up rules themselves. So what we are saying over here is that when we talk to the children simply just don't imitate us or repeat what we are saying, but while they listen to the language that comes to us, they try to disentangle or to see what types of rules they make are there underlying what we are saying, and use those rules to their own use of language. Research revealed that children, no matter what their background was and what language they spoke, they referred to certain things in a specific consistent pattern involving possession, negation, or location. Negate if they wanted to say no to something, or they wanted to tell what belonged to them, or they wanted to say refer to any location. You might be thinking in your mind that what we are saying over here does not somehow correspond with real life experiences with very little children. For instance, when you say something like a baba to a child, the child will initially repeat the word and also say baba. The sounds that you make, the child imitates. But we are talking about a later stage in the development. We say that although initially the child might imitate, yet when the child actually becomes more and more proficient user of the first language, he or she uses certain rules, the rules that they make up in their mind, and these rules might not be the same rules that you're applying. These are the creative rules that the child has himself or herself developed in his or her mind. There was research, for instance, this research used certain nonsensical words to see how much, for instance, how the children who were learning the second language, that is English in this case, applied the past tense rule or the rule of the plural by using S. And they said, showed a toy to a child, for instance, to children, and they said, "This is a wug, and now there are two. There are two," and all the children said, "two wugs." So although they had never listened to the word wugs, because this was a nonsensical word, they applied the rule of adding S that they had for referring to a plural set of things just by applying the rule. Similarly, they used the word gling, and they said, this showed an action and said, this is what the child was doing yesterday, and today in the morning he was glinging, and what was he doing yesterday? And the children said glinged, ed. So this shows that the children, when they're listening to the first language, they make up rules and they apply them in their own specific way. Their exceptions to the rules do not come early. For instance, take will always be taked for children, and it will be a while before the children will stop using takes and will use took instead. And it is also argued that corrections do not help the child at this stage, because they will keep on making the same mistakes no matter what or no matter how many times you correct the child, because this corresponds to the developmental stage of the mind of the child. So the language learning is said to form three stages. In the first stage, you will see that the child will imitate and use the correct form of language. Then the child, as he or she tries to make up certain rules in his or her mind, they will use an incorrect form. And later on, when they realize that the rules that they are applying is incorrect or are incorrect, then they will use the correct form at last. So these are the three stages the children will always follow when they are learning their first language.